accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, laws of 1975, adequate and electronic notice of this meeting was provided through the public notice on January 12, 2023, by emailing to the Hunterdon County Democrat and the Express Times, posting on the district website and the main bulletin board in the district office, filing via email with the clerks of the following townships: Alexandria Township, Frenchtown Borough, Holland Township, Kingwood Township, and Milford Borough. I'll have a call to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I have a roll call, please? Mrs. Culberson? Mr. Delisle?
Here.
Ms. Elphick? Here. Mrs. Gaspari? Here. Ms. Gordon? Here. Mr. McGuire? Mr. Simony?
Here.
Mrs. Oldenburg? Here. Ms. Campbell? Here. All right, agenda item A, executive session. Resolved by the Board of Education of Delaware Valley Regional High School as per Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, that it is hereby determined that it may be necessary to meet in executive session today to discuss a HIP appeal hearing, student matter, DVRAA, negotiation superintendent evaluation. The matter discussed will be made public if and when confidentiality is no longer required and action pursuant to said discussion shall take place only at a public meeting. The length of the meeting is thought to be approximately 1 hour. Action will be taken upon return to open session. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We will go to executive session.
pretty good. I started calling it comments.
You can say it live now.
We're good.
You can test it out.
You're gonna start a scandal here.
Sorry, everybody, we had an executive session that ran a little longer than we thought. So that's great. So we have the presentation, the student recognition, student of the month, Mr. Case.
Motion to return.
Oh, I'm sorry, we did the motion to return. We do a motion. We're good.
Oh, are we going to
That's
Scott first?
Yeah, that's it. Oh, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to announce Isabella Diaz as our June Student of the Month. Isabella. Isabella is a rising sophomore who is a great example to her classmates of what leadership entails. Leadership does not always come from a person who is the oldest, most experienced, or by title. This is true as demonstrated by Isabella through her involvement in student council this year. According to Ms. Wolsifer, the student council advisor, Isabella was by far the most conscientious of all of the members of the student council. This was made more impressive because she was a freshman. Isabella was technically elected as freshman secretary, but decided to take all the meeting minutes, all the attendance, and keep all the records, as well as showing up for all activities and giving generously of her time all year long. These included heavy undertakings, as she was instrumental in the setup and breakdown of the homecoming and winter dances. Additionally, during the final student council project of the school year, where goodie bags were made for the student body during final exams, Isabella gave up many entire lunch periods, stuffing about 1/4 of the 1,200 bags on her own. In addition to her role in the student council, Isabella was also involved in both the fall play Puffs and the Addams Family musical, all while maintaining an A average with 3 honors classes on her schedule. Isabella should serve as an example to all of us that title or status should not matter when we see the opportunity to have an impact and enhance the high school experience for the entire student body. We look forward to seeing how Isabella grows to new heights, both in her roles that she served this past school year and those new programs that she may choose to pursue as she continues to delve out. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Isabella. All right, Mr. Jacobs, we have the athletes of the month.
I'm sorry. The athletes of the month could not make it tonight.
Okay,
All right.
we'll have them another time. How about the art students of the month?
Good evening, everyone. I asked Mr. Kinney if I could speak for just a moment to preface our Arts Student of the Month and talk to you a little bit about what you may have heard already, that Del Val's musical, The Addams Family, received 12 nominations this year across a wide array of performance and production categories in this year's Rising Star Award held by Paper Mill Playhouse. To give you a bit of context, Paper Mill, like many other regional theaters, sponsors these awards modeled on the Tonys, and around 120 different high schools from around New Jersey participated in that this year. Del Val was one of 7 nominated for Best Musical. And our actors had a chance to perform on their wonderful stage down there in Millburn. Now, this is, I think, a testament to what many of you already know, that we have incredibly talented young people here at Del Val, and they are led by an immensely dedicated faculty. The one award you'll hear about a little bit later, but 2 that were recognized: Best Hair and Makeup to Ms. Carrie Snodgrass. She won that award. And Best Direction went to Mr. Clinton Alms. for his leadership in the show. So we were really thrilled about these take-homes. And our student of the month this year for the arts is the one who came home with the best performer in a male-identified role, and that is Mr. Dakota Bass. Mr. Alms couldn't be here this evening, so I'll speak a little bit about him and then I'll hand it over to Ms. Fleischman. Mr. Alms writes this, and I won't do it in his voice, I promise. It says, good evening, everyone. Tonight I am honored to introduce Del Val Arts Student of the Month, Junior Dakota Krause, aka Mr. Del Val. Charming, charismatic, and well-spoken, Dakota is a natural-born entertainer and a Renaissance man. He dabbles in a little bit of everything and is, incidentally, good at everything in which he dabbles. Dakota thrives in Del Val's choral, TV, media, theater, and dance programs, and he is genuinely enthusiastic about serving our school community by endowing it with his distinct brand of humor, charm, and positivity. As the future president of Del Val's thespian troupe, Dakota will undoubtedly play a distinctive role in the creative direction of the troupe as he continues to helm a series of successful fundraisers and theater-based events, including our coffee houses and now established Thespian and Buddies Cabaret, which under his leadership was a tremendous success last month. Nevertheless, Dakota's greatest honor to date has been winning Outstanding Performer in a Leading Role in a Musical for his role as Gomez Adams at the 2023 Paper Mill Playhouse Rising Star Awards. He says, congratulations, Dakota, on achieving the honor of Del Val Student of the Month.
Hello, everyone. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Heather Fleischman, the dance teacher and choreographer here at Del Val. I will be dovetailing off of what Mr. Tinnis shared from Mr. Alms and what he shared about Dakota, and going into more detail of why we're honoring him with Performing Arts Student of the Month award. Yes, Dakota has an impressive resume and a long list of achievements on and off the stage, and I cannot begin to express the joy the cast and crew of the Addams Family felt when he was announced as the winner of Paper Mill Playhouse's Rising Star Award in the category of Outstanding Leading Performer in a Male-Identified Role for his portrayal of Gomez Adams. But do you know what the last thing that Dakota said in his speech after receiving this accolade? He looked to the back of the audience, where he knew the cast was sitting, and he said, quote, "We did it." And that's the fantastic thing about Dakota. He means it. We did it. When one of us wins, we all win. One of his hidden talents, a talent you can't see from a seat in the audience, is a sense of being a part of something bigger, and he holds that weight with him. His sense of reverence for those around him and the weight of leading by example is profound. His character reaches beyond the stage doors to what he does off the stage, makes a difference in our theater community. The way he spreads his love and passion for theater and shares it with others is at the core of who he is. Let's rewind to his freshman year for a moment. As a 14-year-old, he saw a need and stepped up to edit footage of a musical, sacrificing his spring break. This footage later became a movie. Because of the pandemic, the movie was Del Val's version of the yearly musical. Because of his time and perfectionism, I am sure his editing and keen eye helped Brad Kessis secure the same Rising Star win in 2021 that he walked away with this year. He ensured his castmates and peers were always shown in the best light. In his sophomore year, alongside assistant choreographer Kate Bach and fellow dance captain Grace Delisle, he helped breathe life into characters of the Lost Boys and Hook's Pirates by helping to choreograph new, fun, and imaginative dance numbers in an otherwise danceless musical. When the choreographer's position was left vacant at AMS, Dakota and Grace volunteered to choreograph the middle school's production of Shrek Jr., simply because he couldn't let down a place where he discovered his love of theater. He had to share that love and passion with the students of AMS. Dakota's junior year was filled with similar successes and stories. Dakota continued to take on many stage roles performing for packed audiences, but that is not where we, his directors, only see him shine, and he truly shines as a leader. As much as you, the audience members, see him thrive on stage, Dakota's presence backstage is much fiercer. Not only did he continue this year as an actor and as a dance captain at DV, but he also joined you all here on the board. reporting on student theater affairs alike. He continued to choreograph for AMS's production of Legally Blonde Jr. while also performing in 2 musicals with a community theater skit, all while keeping a rigorous academic schedule filled with honors and AP level courses. And somehow he found the time to introduce something new to the Del Val stage, the Buddies Cabaret. Next year he dreams of turning it into a full-on musical for students of all abilities. So get ready. But let us round back to the most recent memory of Dakota on the DV stage, his standout performance as Gomez in The Addams Family. Gomez, the caring and loving leader of the Addams Family, allowed Dakota to tap into and share his understanding of leadership, and he brought that fire to his role for all to see. Leading and spreading his love of theater here at Del Val and to our extended community, that's what Dakota does best. And that's why he's our June Performing Arts Student of the Month. I can't wait to see what his senior year brings. Thank you, Dakota, for everything you've done and continue to do. Your dedication, talent, and passion are an inspiration to us all.
I would like to congratulate 2 members of the Del Val staff who have received the President's Volunteer Service Award this year. This is a national recognition through the White House that was established in 2003 under George W. Bush. Kelly Helmstetter, who received the Gold Award for completing over 500 hours of unpaid acts of service, benefiting others, and along with Stacy Grady, who received the Silver Award for completing over 250 hours of service. This is the 2nd year in a row that both Kelly and Stacy have received this award.
Any honorary recognition?
Mrs. Jones, our retiree, couldn't make it today due to a felled tree, I believe, on the way here. So she had to turn around.
Okay, then,
So you just want me to stay up here?
yes.
Okay.
Do the principal's report.
Principal's report. So on June 1st, we held our freshman field day where members of the class of 2026 engaged in friendly competition in ultimate frisbee, volleyball, kickball, and Jeopardy under the guidance of some members of our senior class, along with some of our staff members. On June 6th, a similar event, a senior barbecue and field day was held for members of our senior class, which was followed by senior awards night in the auditorium where 70 members of the class of 2023 were recognized through scholarships and awards. On the following night, June 7th, the athletic awards night was held, recognizing the accomplishments of our athletes from all 3 athletic seasons. On June 14th, a ceremony was held to honor our Fierce students who had completed the programs. This was a Fierce graduation ceremony. In attendance were families, staff, and current Fierce students, along with Fierce alumni students. Once again, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Alms, Dakota, and the entire cast of crew of the Addams Family for their accomplishments and recognition by the Paper Mill Playhouse Rising Star Awards. And on June 16th, the class of 2023 commencement ceremony was held at the stadium. We are so proud of our graduates and wish them all luck in their future endeavors. And finally, last week on June 20th and 21st, the inaugural Summer Science Enrichment Program was held, which included 30 student participants ranging from grades 1st to 7th, and they participated in programs which focused on the fields of space engineering and ecology. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
have a great summer.
Thank you. All right, it's time for public comment under bylaw number 167, public participation in board meetings. Residents are invited to respectfully share their concerns, comments, and suggestions. And at this time, the board will hear those comments. Public comment is an opportunity for the public to comment on agenda items and to observe the board conducting the business of the board. It is not an opportunity to dialogue with the board. Public participation shall be governed by the following rules. A participant must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by an announcement of your name, place of residence, and group affiliation if appropriate. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes duration. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No participant may address or question board members individually. The board pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act shall not publicly discuss personnel matters and shall not respond to comments made by members of the public. Please be aware that any person employed by the Delaware Valley Regional High School District Board of Education retains the right of privacy and shall retain all rights regarding defamation and slander according to the laws of New Jersey. We recognize that everyone has the freedom to speak, but advise you that anything said in public may have legal ramifications. There is no protection regarding statements made by the public. So at this time, I will invite the public. Does anyone wish to come forward and speak? Mrs. Torres.
Hello. My name is Jennifer Campbell and I'm from Frenchtown. I hope my time didn't start. I prepared something, but I cut it out because I realized I didn't know I only had 3 minutes. My name is Jennifer Campbell and I'm here today on behalf of my daughter Riley to ask that you not renew the contract of Asa Whitaker as the softball varsity head coach. I want to commend my daughter Riley for having the courage to speak up. She is a National Honor Society student and a peer leader. She doesn't need to play softball. She plays because she loves the game and the relationships that she has built with her teammates. She could have very easily done what so many players before her have done, which is to simply walk away from softball without saying anything about what goes on. That would have been the easier path to take. We know many of you are probably thinking, where are all the other parents and players? If it is so bad, other parents would speak up. My only answer to that is fear of retribution against their daughter. We know from personal experience the hesitancy to speak up. Our older daughter played for Mr. Whitaker beginning in 2018 as a freshman. She played her freshman and sophomore year. Junior year there was no season because of COVID, and she made the difficult decision her senior year not to play because she did not want to go back to playing for Mr. Whitaker after her experience with him. We should have spoken out at that time, but regretfully we didn't. We knew that had we said something at that time, Riley never would have been given a fair shot at making varsity, so we stayed silent. Riley made varsity as a freshman and was the starting second baseman, a spot she worked hard to earn. We watched an entire season of Mr. Whitaker treating several players, and one in particular, as his punching bag. The player who was the focus of his ire was a junior pitcher first baseman. When she approached Mr. Whitaker about pitching more innings, she landed herself on the bench. After all, he had a sophomore ace who pitched every inning of every game. At one game, his treatment of this player was so bad that her father, in the middle of the game, told her to get her stuff, they were going to leave. To her credit, she told her dad to sit down, and she finished out the game on the bench where she remained the rest of the season. This player did not play her senior year because of Mr. Whitaker's treatment of her. She graduated in 2022 and is now playing in college as a pitcher. In the 2022 season, Mr. Whitaker had a new player that he focused his ire on. During one game that season, there was a sophomore pitcher trying to earn a spot, and he spoke so rudely to her that I turned to the parent sitting next to me and I said, "I bet you she quits." And sure enough, the next day she quit. As a result, they had 2 pitchers left. And Riley, who had pitched when she was very young, was asked to step in and pitch for the varsity pitcher when her arm was injured due to overuse. This season, as March approached, Riley was dreading the start of softball because she knew Mr. Whitaker was going to ask her to pitch him again. Sure enough, that is exactly what happened. This time Riley stood her ground and she did not want to pitch, and for that she was punished for the remainder of the season. In the 5 years we have had a child playing, watched kids playing at Del Val, returning varsity players were guaranteed their returning spot, except for this year.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I would just ask you to take all this in consideration in the letter that I sent when you look to vote on renewing Mr. Whitaker's contract as the highest paid coach at Del Val.
Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Kelly Kuster. I live in Kingwood Township, and I have twins that will be seniors here at Del Val in the fall of 2023. I also have the privilege of being the Performing Arts Boosters President for the past 2 years, and am proud to be filling that role this year for my 3rd year. The Del Val Performing Arts Boosters is a fantastic group of parents who are always looking to support our kids in any way we can, and I feel so fortunate and blessed to work with all of them. I'm here tonight to thank you for including in the agenda this evening item 9.2, the motion to approve the overnight field trip for the Golden Regiment Marching Band to attend Pan Camp at Camp Greeley in Greeley, Pennsylvania this coming August. Going away to Camp Greeley for band camp is an important part of preparing for a successful season of marching band. Band camp at Camp Greeley is a time when students can fully immerse themselves into the job of learning the music and the show's drill, as well as forming long-lasting relationships that bond them together as a cohesive group, which only enhances their ability to perform as one entity on the field during their performances through the year. And of course, we all have fun as well. I have had the pleasure of being part of band camp for the past 2 years to see the incredible work that is accomplished by the teaching staff and the students while we are there. And I look forward to going once again this year. I would like to invite any of you to join us for a day in August at Camp Greeley to see what an awesome and invaluable program that this is for the marching band. All of our performing arts staff, band, choral, theater, dance, they are all an amazing group of talented and dedicated people who want only the best for our students, and we are lucky to have them. It is a privilege to work beside all of these directors throughout the entire year. It's amazing the overwhelming positive comments that I receive when I share with people outside of our district all the opportunities that are afforded to our performing arts kids. I thank you all once again for allowing the band to travel to camp this summer and your continued support for all of the performing arts here at Del Val. So thank you. Have a good evening.
Anyone else wish to be heard?
Good evening. Bill Metz, Alexandria Township. I was going to make a wisecrack and give you detention for coming 37 minutes late, but we know how hard you work and we really appreciate all your service. If you were late, we know how hard you're working back there. I wanted to come and offer some of my experiences and support to the school. Having had 3 children go through the school, I know what a great environment we've had here for a long time. And right now I understand there's a paving project that's being considered for the school. That sounds great to me. Coming into this cafeteria and seeing how well it's maintained, having seen the custodians here on many, many Saturdays at wrestling matches over the years, this place looks great. The only thing I would bring in my 35 years of New Jersey commercial and industrial construction, I've supplied a couple $100 million of equipment on billions of dollars of projects for places like Merck, J&J, Bristol-Myers Squibb. I've listened and learned from some suppliers and friends. So if paving is something that should be on the list, let's do it. But I would also ask, where is that in the hierarchy of what's most important? We have a building in its 70th or 7th decade. When was the last time we put a camera down the septic system? How much mercury is in the light bulbs over our head? This building was built when asbestos was one of the great wonders of the world in the 1950s. Where are we on that? How's our water quality? There's all these other systems that if they ever fail, the repair cost is 10 times what paving is, which deteriorates at 1% a year, and waiting another year. The second part of putting in the hierarchy, if we decide that's the most important thing, let's go for it. But if we're gonna spend 80 or 100 grand for an acre of paving on a lot, I understand that it's possible there's only one bidder. Again, having been in construction, and I call on and support consulting engineers and architects almost every day, I get calls to budget things all the time, and it's always way over what we think market level is, because we have to cover our consulting engineer if the design's not done yet. We have to cover changes in the marketplace. We always start out higher. All I'm asking is, if paving is the #1 priority we have, then let's put it out to bid and get feedback from the marketplace. The analogy I'm going to make is probably everybody here has got into Walmart, Costco, the gas station, and gotten a case of water for $4, about 15 cents a bottle. In the machine back here, that same bottle of water is $1.50. If you go to a Saturday night event or sports event, it could be $6 or $8 for a bottle of water. Construction is similar to that. When it's done in the summer or deferred until autumn, prices can vary widely. All I ask is prioritize the projects. If I can help the board in any way, I got a lot of decades of construction. I'm here off hours at any time. I never got over my Lego and Tonka truck phase. I'm here to help on any phase of construction. If it's not something I'm good at, I have friends that are. So I thank you for your time, your service, and if I can help at any time, please call me to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Good evening, my name is Laura Reichert. I'm from Kingwood Township, and I would just like to take this time to first thank all those teachers, coaches, and other staff members that worked with my children throughout their time here at Del Val. Thank you so much for working with them, getting to know them, and just being a positive influence on their development. Second, I would like to thank the parents who organized the project graduation. My son had a terrific time, and I know a lot of work and time went into doing that. And I just want to say thank you so much for his time at that event, and that his time here at Del Val ended on a positive note. And to the administration and board, every student deserves the respect, inclusion, and overall common courtesy that others receive. No student should be an oversight and should not be made to feel excluded. Any family would not want their child to be an oversight. And I would just ask that you would please work harder together so that no student is made to feel this way. Thank you so much.
Anyone else want to speak? Okay. And we will close the public comment portion of the meeting tonight, and we will move on to the board goals and evaluation calendar. Ask our superintendent to speak on this.
Good evening, everyone. Unfortunately, Mrs. Jones couldn't join us, but I would like to just extend my best wishes for a long, healthy, and happy retirement to her. She is such a positive contributor to Del Val, and I hope that we see her around campus and community for years to come. I'd also like to thank all the Del Val staff and community members who participated in the Strikeout Hunger softball event a couple of weeks ago. This event collected more than 800 pounds of food and more than $1,000 in donations to support the fight against food insecurity in Hunterdon County. Special thanks to Mr. Jim Kluska and Mr. Arnie Stang, who took the lead and coordinated the event and the facility for this event. I also just want to draw attention, the board members received copies of the Changing Perspectives Lit Mag that is so professionally done. Just such a positive reflection of all the work of our teachers, and then developing the love of writing, and then having such a professional publication. So we thank the staff for that work and then donating to the board. As we close out the year, I only have one HIV investigation and 4 student suspensions to report. I did want to draw some attention to several of the items on the agenda. I am recommending the approval of our updated health and safety guidelines. As most of you are aware, we approved that back in the fall, and we are required by federal guidelines to approve this every 6 months so that we can still use and receive those grant fundings. We are also recommending the approval of the district mentoring and district professional development plans for the 2023-2024 school year. These plans are submitted to the state annually and serve as an outline for our plans for continual growth and improvement among all parts of our teaching staff moving forward. The agenda also includes a renewal of our agreement with the Hunterdon County Prosecutor's Office to provide a Class 3 officer in our building for safety of students and staff. I continue to be grateful for the positive working relationship that the district shares with local law enforcement as we work together to provide the safest environment possible. To build upon this progress that we made this year and continue next year, we are also recommending the appointment of Dr. Ariel Gilbert as the Supervisor of Security, Safety, and Student Conduct. We are excited to build our team, especially in light of the new state requirements with regards to school safety, and she's here today, so we are glad to add her to our team. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. And then we have action items. 6.1, 6.5, do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second? Looks like you want to take roll call? Oh, I'm sorry. Any questions or discussion? Take the roll call, please.
Mr. Delisle?
Yes.
Ms. Elford?
Yes.
Mrs. Gaspari?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Simony?
Yes.
Mrs. Oldenburg?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes. And we have the school business administrator, Ms. O'Brien.
So our next regular action meeting will be on August the 28th. And we will still have the July bill list. That review will be done by Mr. McGuire. The August bill list review will be done by Mrs. Oldenburg. School board candidate kit nominating petitions are available, and they are due to the county clerk on July 31st. And just a reminder about the New Jersey School Boards Association convention.
No action items?
No.
Okay. The agenda item 8, minutes. 8.1. Motion to approve the meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second? Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Delisle?
Yes.
Ms. Elford?
Yes.
Mrs. Gaspari?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire? I'm sorry, Mr. Simony?
Yes.
Mrs. Oldenburg?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes. Agenda item number 9, Operations Committee, Mr. Sim.
Sure. I'm going to go ahead and do the action items first. So do I have a motion for 9.1 through 9.9?
I'll move them.
Second.
Second.
And discussion or questions?
I have a question about 9.3. I'm
Yep.
just totally unfamiliar with request for pupil transportation by private vehicle.
Teresa, can you elaborate on
Yeah,
board
so
policy
sometimes
0?
we have situations, let's see who's on that approval. Yeah, so sometimes depending on how many students might be going to a particular event, if it's more like for, an individual student, we do allow for the coaches or a staff member to drive in their personal vehicle. But it has to be done with approval and knowledge of the administration, and we go a step further and approve it by the board.
Good question. On 9.5, Teresa, for all these joint transportation, do we have enough bus drivers? So these can all be staffed?
Yes, we should be fully staffed for all the groups, yes.
Anything else? Do the roll call?
Mrs. Gaspari?
Yes.
Mr. Delisle?
Yes.
Mr. Simony?
Yes.
Ms. Elford?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mrs. Oldenburg?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes. The Finance Committee report.
I'm
agenda-
sorry, I just still wanted to go over the informational items. I did mine backwards there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no
No, go ahead.
problem. Some things that we talked about when we met at the operations committee. So asbestos removal, was supposed to be completed the week of June 19th.
It is complete.
It is completed, okay. Great, so there's a state monitoring of asbestos every year, correct? We have to check on that.
So every 6 months, there's a walkthrough surveillance, and every 3 years, official new report.
Yep. So there was a minor area of tile in the, to recap from a few meetings ago, in the band closet, and then some pipe that needed to be rewrapped in one of the boiler rooms. So that was all done. The other aspect, we talked about some parking lot lights, proposal for 3 poles. The committee was kind of split on it. These are solar and wind powered poles with a battery backup. You can put cameras on them. Total cost after all the rebates for the 3 poles is $50,000. No decision was made on whether or not to proceed. We talked about maybe going to 2 poles, maybe reorienting some of the poles if we decide to go. But there was further discussion needed by the overall committee. And basically the discussion was, is this the best way to spend $50K of Del Val facility dollars at this time? So there's some security concerns that were in favor of the poles, and some of us thought that it wasn't necessary. So further discussion. The biggest thing that came out of the committee was our architect, Anthony Gianfrancaro, was present via Zoom to answer everyone's questions. Some questions from last time that came up about the parking lot was, is there a 1-year warranty? Yes, there is. There's a maintenance bond if we decide to move forward with paving. Another question that came up was, is a 2-inch mill and pave adequate? And the answer is yes. Based on the core samples, that leaves 4 inches of pavement and roughly, I think it was around 10 inches of base. So, yeah, we have 4 inches of total pavement. There is one small area near the front of the school where the core is slightly thinner, and Mr. John Ficaro said that he'd make the recommendation to the contractor to mill a little bit less there to make sure that we had a full 4 inches total. The majority of the committee saw the project as a need to have. Again, delaying it could result in, if we have a bad winter, frost heave or ice or anything like that. So we can take a motion. It's not on the agenda, but we can take a motion to move forward with it if anybody's interested in doing that for to award Crossroads pavement maintenance for front parking lot and roadway repaving in the amount of $159,760. Using the contract for repaving service and repair, if anybody wants to move it forward today.
Are you making a motion to move it, and you're looking for a second, or what are you doing?
I'll make a motion. Yeah, I'll make a motion to move it forward if somebody wants a second.
I think we should wait for the full board to be here, so we can get
Well,
a
I'm gonna second it.
full vote.
Well, I seconded it, so now.
So are there any other questions on the paving project?
We'll have the discussion, so you want to make that as part of the discussion?
I mean,
Good.
that's fine.
I have concerns about prioritizing a parking lot over other systems that I think in our aging building, would need attention, and I don't think it's appropriate to prioritize a front parking lot, which to me doesn't seem to be that bad.
No, I understand.
Oh, sorry.
No, I understand. I took some notes too. I mean, because we have the long-range maintenance and facility plan that we've been over at to update the rest of the board on it, those that are not on the operations committee, that we've gone over. I mean, we're mandated for asbestos and we're mandated for water quality on our wells. Is that correct? So those are checked. Our septic system, the lids were recently upgraded to meet state requirements. And how often is the septic system inspected?
The septic system is pumped 4 times a year.
4 times a year. So we have two main sewer lines going down the main hallways that have clogged in the past. They've been water jetted and scoped. So they're
Cambered, they've been
Cambered.
cambered, they've been cleaned out.
Yeah.
We
So
haven't had issues since that's been done.
our roof and windows are all in good working order. We've looked at, ad nauseum, is this a good thing to spend money on now as far as everything on the long range plan? And we just keep on coming back to, yes, it is a good thing. Like, we can't find another project to spend this money on. The bleachers are on a long range plan, but there's no danger or imminent decay to those, correct?
Correct.
What's the condition of our electrical system?
Teresa, can you comment on?
Yeah, the electrical system, as we have completed projects, we've added breaker boxes and we've upgraded the system as we've gone along. It's not an old system. We have adequate electric in the building to accommodate all the added technology that we have in our building.
How's our water, the quality of the water, I think, okay.
The water, yes, so the water, we have a well water management company. All of our treatment systems are current and operating fine. We're tested regularly for everything because we're considered a small water system because we provide water to the public essentially. Our drinking water test results can be found on the Department of Environmental Protection Safe Drinking Water website. It's public information, it's all there. As things come along, the only thing recently that has come along that's might be a little bit different is this testing for, I guess we would call plastics in the water, which we have a treatment system in place for that. There's nothing imminent that I know. We've already replaced the pump. We have a brand new water tank in the back of the building, so it was an underground water tank. We now have an above ground water tank. That was done recently, just within maybe 4 years.
Are there any other specific facilities concerns?
The only one that we've put in a rod grant for is the next thing we'll be looking at is our HVAC systems. That would come from our capital projects, not from the maintenance reserve. So those capital projects, that's the rod grants will support HVAC and rooftop unit replacement.
But that only covers 40% of the cost, correct?
Correct, and that's
60%.
right, with capital money, not maintenance.
And how are we on the maintenance of the other air conditioning systems? The rest of the air conditioning systems, in terms of maintenance?
Yeah, some of them have, they are repaired and they're all upkept. We have staff who replace the filters in accordance with their indoor air quality. We replace belts, we replace pumps when they need to be replaced. There's the ones that we're recommending now are the oldest ones to be replaced, but we can put them on a cycle for replacement.
And what about the lights? I think one of the community members mentioned.
Right, so all of the lights have been replaced with LEDs, so there are no fluorescent light bulbs in the building.
And I know that they talked about some plumbing issues throughout the year with the restrooms, so.
Right, we haven't had any plumbing issues this year. Like we said, we jetted everything. It was probably about 3 years ago when we did the septic, and all the plumbing issues have been, we don't have any right now.
Right, so another question came up. When was the last time we've done any paving out there? Do you know?
Not in front of the building. The last paving project that I'm aware of, I actually started in the district in 2013. At that time, they were finishing a paving project, and it was in the back of the building for the bus parking, that section. Not in front where the student parking.
So 2013, since 2013 at least, the front hasn't been paved.
Correct, there's been nothing. We've done some patching of the holes that have shown up in the cracks, but
And why did we not get multiple bids for this? I don't remember what that was.
so, excuse me, the contractor that has submitted a proposal has already submitted a bid through the, I think it's the ESC, the Ed Data. They're on the Ed Data. We are members of Ed Data. They are a cooperative pricing bidding system. So they put bids out on behalf of school districts, and we purchased off of their bid price. That is allowable under the public contract law for school districts to do that. If we use a co-op vendor that has already bid and their bid pricing is being used to make the proposal, then we don't have to get multiple bids. If we went out to bid, then the architectural fees would have been higher and it would have taken a longer process. We have familiarity with the product of this particular vendor, and the results that we've gotten feedback are positive, so we felt that we were complying with all of the bidding laws by using the one vendor. We did ask to cooperate, to work together with the Alexandria Township. We were going to get another price from them to get on their summer schedule to come and do our project. Their contractor required a minimum square footage in order to do the project, and we did not fit within that minimum square footage, and they declined to give us a proposal.
Well, is there a harm if we were to wait, say, into the next Board of Ed meeting to come to a decision regarding this? I mean,
Yes.
So the next Board of Ed meeting would be at the same time school's starting, so the project wouldn't be able to be completed until the following summer.
how long does this project anticipate to affect? Like, is it gonna take a week to do, 2 weeks?
It might be about a week. We did contact the contractor because even at this point, it's late to get on their summer schedule. They did say that if we approved the project tonight, that they would be able to finish it in August, that they would still have some time in their schedule to complete it in August. Beyond that, we wouldn't get it done this summer.
I have concerns about that. I have concerns about not having the full board on this issue, concerns about not getting other quotes. You know, I mean, we're relying on this one contractor to say they can do it, and I don't know if we can get better quotes. And I'm just not comfortable prioritizing a parking lot with an aging building, and, you know.
It's not a matter of prioritizing. I'm sorry, it's a matter of basic maintenance, and we've gone through this list for months now, looking for other projects to do in place of this one, and we can't come up with a good one. And
Why can't we save them on a rainy day?
we've got $460,000 in the maintenance reserve, and this is going to bring us down to $300,000 in the maintenance reserve, which Teresa, Scott, and Arnie have all said they're very comfortable with if there were any emergencies that were to pop up. The architect himself was on the last Zoom call and said, look, he goes, I don't want to tell you how to spend your money, but this is what it'll cost you now to do this 2-inch mill and pave. And if we have a bad winter with frost heave and you never know when it's going to come, it could cost 1.5, 2 times more to go all the way down to the base if we get a bad winter, but we don't know if that's going to happen. So to me,
But he
this
also
is
said you couldn't say for sure that you needed to do it right now.
And he's
Yeah.
got some job, so.
Yeah.
right. I can't say that the roof isn't going to start leaking right now. So sounds like discussion's over.
Sounds like
Well, I
what?
have a motion on the table.
Do we have any more discussion, or is the discussion over? Do we have any more
Well,
questions?
I would like to see if anybody does, if you don't mind. Does anyone have anything else that they want to add?
Well,
Anything else?
other people had questions at the last board meeting, were all those questions answered?
Yeah, my question, the reason I bring the last month was because I have the same question that you had, Melanie, for you, which was, what was the co-op thing that we were talking about? So that was cleared up for me. I think that was the only question I had, and then the 2-inch was Tim.
So we're gonna have a 5-4 vote.
We'll have it,
Well,
we'll put it up for vote now. We have a motion, we have a second, we had a discussion, we can vote if there are any more questions.
Roll call.
Mrs. Gasparri?
Yes.
Mr. Delisle?
Yes.
Mr. Sydney?
Yes.
Ms. Alford?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mrs. Oldenburg?
No.
Ms. Campbell?
No.
Motion carries.
Okay. Move on to agenda item 10, Finance Committee. Ms. Culbertson isn't here, so I'll ask you, Ms. O'Brien, to talk about the Finance Committee and informational items and action items.
Okay, so 10.1 through 10.4 are our normal monthly action items for approving bill list, finance reports for the month of May, transfers, and the like. 10.5 is a list of, is authorizing the school business administrator and the superintendent to pay bills between board meetings since we are absent of an action meeting in July, but authorized us to continue to pay bills with the approval of the board at the next action meeting. 10.6 is a list of contracts that are in place for the 22-23 school year that's required to be approved by the board. Again, it's not approving the contracts, it's just acknowledging a list of contracts that were in place for the 22-23 school year. And that's in accordance with 18A, 18, and the accountability regulations. The IDEA fiscal year individuals with disabilities grant application, we're receiving in the amount of $181,951. We are recommending to refuse federal Perkins secondary grant funds as we discussed in our committee meeting, and also the approval of the EACA application, which includes Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV, in the amount of $42,322. We are applying for a Trees for Schools tree planting grant. So there's a motion to submit that application. The Plan Connect Appendix Secured 2.0 plan is for our new provisions that take effect for our 403B and 457 plans. The changes to the plan basically in accordance with the new IRS regulations on these particular savings plans is to increase the age limit for mandatory withdrawal. And then we have a list of out-of-district tuition contracts, a couple of tuition contracts for students that will be attending Del Val in the 23-24 school year. Motion to reject the strategic planning proposals that we received and authorize business administrator to request a new set of proposals for strategic planning. We have a motion in 10.21 for a deposit of undesignated funds into the capital reserve account, an amount not to exceed $500,000. And 10.22 is to join the New Jersey Schools Insurance Group for our property casualty and general liability insurances, and that is a 3-year commitment. And then 10.23 is the normal travel approvals.
Do we have a motion?
Motion Motion.
Second,
Second.
discussion?
Yeah, Teresa, I have a question. Why are we rejecting the Perkins grant money? Can you explain that?
The Perkins grant, we're receiving those funds or given an allocation for those funds because of our CTE status with our biomedical academy. The requirements for receiving those funds is quite cumbersome, and we haven't quite got to the point where we can meet all of those requirements in order to receive the funds. So we were suggesting that we release them back to the government.
Is there a plan to get us up to speed so that we can meet those requirements in the future?
I don't know that I have that information directly.
Any other discussion? Take the vote.
Ms. Elphick,
Yes.
Mr. Delisle,
Yes.
Mrs. Gaspari,
Yes.
Ms. Gordon,
Yes.
Mr. Simney,
Yes.
Mrs. Oldenburg,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes. Agenda item 11, negotiation committee, Ms. Gordon?
Okay, we have 3 items that I'd like to move and then we can discuss it. I'd like to move a new DVRAA agreement, which will go into effect 2023 and run through 2026. And then we have 2 sidebar agreements, sidebar for custodians and sidebar for secretary. So I'd like to move those.
Move.
Second.
Second. Sorry.
Vote?
Well, you want me to just
Any
give a
discussion?
brief-
I'm
I'll
sorry.
just give a brief,
I'm sorry.
I'll give a brief.
Yes.
So the DVRAA contract, is a 2.85% increase for each of the next 3 years. We moved to direct 15 on the benefit guide. And you see there, the other notable thing there is that we reduced tuition reimbursement from 10,000 a year to a total of 8,000 a year. And there were some minor language updates, but that's the gist of the DVRAA contract that will go into effect July 1st if we ratify it. And then we have 2 sidebar agreements. One is for a 10-month second, these impact the DVREA contract, which has 1 year left, which is why we need the sidebar. So one is for a 10-month secretary. The way the language in the contract is that she starts on September 1st, and this position ends on June 30th. There is a need for that position to start in advance of the September 1st date. So both sides agreed to move up the start date of that employee, and then we will end her contract equivalent to the number of days that she started. Correct, Teresa? That's the sidebar for that, and then the sidebar for custodians, again, that's the DVEA contract. We put in language to accommodate 10-month custodian position. And that position will run from July 1st, what's the end date?
September
1st, yeah, to June 30th, and we accommodated 3 vacation days. Did I leave anything out on this? Any questions?
Take a roll call?
Ms. Gordon,
Oh. Yes. Yes.
Mrs. Gaspari,
Yes.
Mr. Simney,
Yes.
Mr. Delisle,
Yes.
Ms. Elphick,
Yes.
Mrs. Oldenburg,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes. Personnel committee, Mr. Delisle? Agenda
Sure.
item 12.
Yep, we met on June 19th. At the meeting, we discussed a new position of supervisor of security, safety, and student conduct, and we've identified a good candidate. We've also found a person to fill Janice Jones's position. We are hiring 2 more people in the transportation office so that we will be fully staffed. We discussed implementing a driver incentive program for attendance, and this will be paid by the Transportation Consortium. Scott will work with the association to revise how the club advisors will be classified and paid, level 1, level 2, or level 3 this summer. This was put into place last year around this time, and they found the process to be a little bit cumbersome, so they want to try to streamline that a little bit. We also discussed the fact that we'd like to renew the Class 3 officer. Both sides are satisfied with the current arrangement. We discussed the 10-month secretary and 10-month custodian sidebar. And then finally, Hunterdon County superintendents have asked the Ed Services Commission for a recruitment and retention coordinator. And right now, there's no cost for this, and the hope is it will help keep employees working in Hunterdon County school districts. So with that, there's a lot of action items, 12.1 through 12.32. I will move those right now.
Second.
Vote? I'm sorry, discussion.
Did your committee discuss the concern with the head softball coach, Easton Whitaker? And if so, what was discussed?
We can't discuss personnel issues. Well, we have to vote on it. But we can't discuss an open public meeting. Personnel issues.
You take that back. Okay, Mr. Delisle?
Yes.
Mrs. Gaspari?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes, except for on 12:20, I would like to abstain on the head softball coach.
Ms. Suffolk?
Yes.
Mr. Simony?
Yes.
Mrs. Oldenburg? Yes, with the exception of head softball coach, East Whitaker basketball. Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Agenda item 13, Policy Committee. Mr. McGuire is not here. I don't know if you have anything you'd like to say on that.
We did not have a reason to meet. The policies from first read were moved forward for second read with the exception of the co-curricular athletic policy that was moved back to committee for further discussion and review.
So do we have a motion to approve the second reading, action item 13.1?
I'll move it.
Second,
Second?
discussion? Vote?
Mr. Simony?
Yes.
Mr. Delisle?
Yes.
Ms. Suffolk?
Yes.
Mrs. Gaspari?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mrs. Oldenburg?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes. Agenda item 14, Education and Student Affairs Committee. Ms. Oldenburg?
So the only thing in addition to what Mr. McKinney has already went over in his report was we have had some discussion starting about artificial intelligence, the tools and impacts for the future. So that's something we're going to keep a very close eye on, and we covered everything else that we were discussing in the meeting. So with that, I'm going to move action items 14.1 and 14.2.
Have a second?
Uh,
Discussion?
I just have a question on 15 ones that we have. Is it a handful, or can you say how many students per?
It's more than a handful, less than 2 handfuls.
Well, no, I think it's exciting that we do that, and I think it's great that they take the opportunity.
No, I think it's positive for both the students and our program.
Vote?
Ms. Ovid?
Yes.
Mr. Delisle?
Yes.
Mrs. Gasparri?
Yeah.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Simony?
Yes.
Mrs. Goldenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes. Agenda item 15, public comment. We have anyone who wishes to speak, public comment? Yes, sir.
Good evening again, Bill Metz from Alexandria. I want to talk about this paving process again. I didn't realize you were this far along, and I think I heard tonight it was 160,000, because I heard a 460 reserve is now down to 300. If we're talking about this area out here, that's around a 60 to 80,000 square foot area. At one point I thought that the discussion was the buses in the back. That sounds like it's about 50% above market value to me. And with all due respect and all the compliance with all these state laws and this bureaucracy, great. But right up over our head, it talks about accountability. And to all our tax-paying friends back here, some of our neighbors are probably paying double or triple the interest right now to take out a home equity loan to put a new roof on their house. And if we're going to be accountable to the taxpayer, and if we think paving's the most important thing over the sewer drain or the septic field or any other major system in the building, you're elected officials and I trust you to do that, and we don't agree on everything. That's part of our system. But to say we're not going to put it out to bid, how do we tell that to all our neighbors and friends in town? Right over our head, accountability. How do we, when this is 50 to 60% over market value, what are we left to think? It sounds like somebody's getting a tennis court out of this. This isn't a good process, guys. We need to be more thorough, not be so lazy, and put the thing out to advertise bid. If it comes in at 160 or 170, I'm a construction guy. I'm not even asking you to go with a low bidder. Pick the second guy if you think he's the best and the team of elected officials decides that. But to go with one price over some bureaucratic nonsense that nobody else looked at it, we're not being accountable to all our neighbors and friends in this town. It's not a good way to do business. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Tanya Drake. I have a rising sophomore at Del Val. And as a taxpayer, I would like to thank you for your accountability in taking our maintenance plan seriously to help prevent the penny-wise, pound-foolish mentality. Last month I was here when the discussion was had about the parking lot, and I'm glad that it was voted through this evening. We also had people missing last month who didn't get to vote. I also want to say thank you for what was already mentioned about the 8th graders participating in marching band. My daughter did participate as an 8th grader, and not only do I feel that it was beneficial for both her and the school, it was an invaluable opportunity for her. And she was able to come to Del Val as a freshman, knowing a good handful of students in her grade as well as all of the other grades, and it gave her a great level of comfort. And to tack on to that, the marching band camp that was held when she was going into 8th grade, and she was a member of the marching band in 8th grade, as was discussed earlier, was an invaluable experience for her. She built relationships and friendships at that camp and came out of there with an accountability to the team. Just like any sports team, our marching band is truly a team. So I want to thank you for what you do for our children and for our building and for our taxpayers. And especially a great big thank you for all of the performing arts support that is received from the board, because these kids are just as fantastic as all of the kids in our other programs. Have a good evening.
Anyone else? Okay. Okay, now we have a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'll do that.
A second? Second. Vote? All in favor?
Aye.
It's, your adjourned.